What is going on, guys? It's Modded here. Welcome back to another PS4 tutorial. So back to backporting once again. In my previous video I showed you guys how to backport manually and there was issues with the save files and it wasn't a great experience, but there wasn't any kind of automated tools to kind of help with the process. I'm talking of course about backporting 6.72 games that were dumped on 6.72 with the new jailbreak and getting them to run on 5.05 with a more stable jailbreak so that you get the best of both worlds if you have a 5.05 PS4. So I showed you guys how to do that in the last video, but there was no automated tools to kind of do it and it just didn't really work out that well. There were problems with the save files and it took too long. So in this video, I'm giving you guys the easy guide on how to backport your games using some tools that can basically do things for you. And also, I will include how to do EA games at the end of the video, because that, unfortunately, is still quite complicated, what you have to do to get EA games working, because EA games use certain features that are not available in 5.05, and therefore, when you try and backport it to run on 5.05, it doesn't work. You have to patch certain things manually, and it's a little complicated, so I'll leave that till the end of the video, so that if you're interested in how to get EA games working, then you can stick around to the end of the video, and I'll show you guys how to do that as well. So as you can see here, I've got a bunch of games. I've got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We try and run this. You can see it doesn't work on 5.05. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, same exact issue, and we've got CTR Crash Team Racing as well, which is also not working. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to hop on the remote package installer and switch back over to our computer here. So I made this little backporting tool, PS4 Backporter, currently on version 1.3. I should have released this tool by the time this video's up, hopefully, this version. Previous versions had some issues, but I think I've got most of them figured out at this point. So what we're going to do is just extract the tool and the install these folder to your desktop. And then if we run the install these folder, you need these two things installed in order for the backport tool to work, because the backport tool uses UNF self and the scripts that we were using in the previous video, and they require Python and this Microsoft C++ package. So, install Python version 2.7. It's just a normal setup installer. Make sure it's version 2.7. If you have Python version 3 and you think, oh, it's fine, I already have Python installed. No, version 3 is not going to work. It has to be version 2.7. So make sure you go ahead and install that. And also you're going to need this Microsoft Visual C++ package right here as well. So you just go ahead and install that as well. So once you have those two things installed, you can then run the backport tool right here. And then we're going to go ahead and select one of our games. So I've got CTR Crash Team Racing here that was not running. So to backport the game, you just drag the game into the input package file. And then you can either create a backport patch or backport the whole package. If you do the whole package, it's basically what we were doing in the previous video, where you're essentially having to extract the entire package file, backport the necessary files, and then repackage it back into a game package file again, so you can install it on your PS4 and it'll run. But that takes a long time because you're extracting the entire game and basically rebuilding it again. So what you can do instead is create a backport patch, and when you do this, it's only going to extract the files that you actually need to backport, and then it's going to recompile them back into a package file again, but it'll be an update package file. So you can just patch the game that you've already got installed that's not running on 5.05. You can patch it with this backported update file and it will get the game running. And that way, as you can see here, it doesn't take much time at all. We're already at the building package stage and we're done. And it's only a 61 megabyte package file. So we can go ahead and install that using PS4 Package Sender, or again, you don't have to use the remote package installer if you don't want to. You can just put the package files on the root of a USB drive and use the debug settings package installer to install them. It works fine like that as well. I just find using the remote package installer is a bit quicker for me. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this over to the PS4 here using the remote package installer. So we'll send package file, and as you can see, it gets added to downloads, and it should only take a few seconds to install here. So there we go, we're done. So now if I head down to information, you can see it's incremented the version number to 1.01. And if we look at the update history, it says we're on we've got a 5.05 backport patch installed. So now if we try and run the game, which wasn't running before, you can see that it is going to run here because it's taking a while. There we go. It is indeed running. So it saves you a bunch of time there with a small backport patch that you can create and then install over the top of your game that's already installed. That way you don't have to delete the game and reinstall the whole game again, like a whole backported version of the whole game. So it saves you a bit of time there. So that's quite useful. So that is one way of doing it. So the next thing I'm going to show you is what if you have an update? What if there's a game update that's not backported? You know, if you backport the game and then you install a normal update on top of it, it's going to overwrite the backported files and then the game's not going to run. So we've got Sekiro Shadows Die Twice here, which is not running, of course. So as you can see, cannot start the application. And if we go to where that is, right here. So I've got two files. I've got an update file and the normal game. So for the actual update file, what we're going to want to do is, first of all, there's two ways that you can do this. So if I put the update file in here, and then you're going to uncheck the input package file is not a patch package. So that just basically means that the package file that you've put in here, you're declaring that it's not a patch package file. It's not an update package file, but in this case it is. It's the 1.04 update. So we're going to uncheck that box and then load the original game package file into the original game package file box right here. And then we can either backport the whole package, and that will create a duplicate version of the 1.04 update that has the backported files on, so you can update the game directly with that. Or we can create a backport patch, which means you'd have to install the 1.04 update and then install the backported patch on top of that. So if we go ahead and we do the whole package file, just to show you right here, so we can do backport the whole package. And this will take some time because this is a 4.5 gigabyte update, so you're going to have to wait, you know, a little bit of time for it to actually extract all the files and then recompile it back into an update package file again. Okay, so I just skipped ahead there. That only took about 2 minutes though. So as you can see, we now have a package file right here that is 4 gigabytes, just like the original package file. So it's the whole package file, just the same 104 update, except it now includes backported files. So you can install that. So if we copy this over to the remote package installer and we head on over here and install it right here, make sure you're installing any updates over the base version of the game, not a backported patch. You don't want to have the base version of the game, then install a backported update for the base version and then install an update on top of that, because then you're going to kind of screw things up. So just have the base version of the game and then install a backported version of the update, like I'm doing here, which is one way of doing it. You know, it's not going to take long. There we go, 4 gigabytes done. So if we look here, we can see we're now on version 1.04. And if we look at the update history, you can see we've got the 5.05 backport patch. So if we go ahead and run Sekiro, and hopefully it will run, and this time it will be on version 1.04. Don't know why I have the timeout set so high right here. Put it down to 9. Okay, there we go. So it's running. See if I can skip past this real quick. Press any button. Just want to see the version number in the bottom right hand corner. There it is, 1.04. So that's one way of installing updates, is to, you know, you install the base version of the game and then you backport the entire update file to create a copy of the update file with the backported files on there. And then you install that update file on top of the game and voila, it works. So that's one way of doing updates. The other way of doing updates, if I just go ahead and uninstall that patch again so that we're back on the base version of Sekiro, where it's not going to run. There we go, back on 1.00. So the other way of doing it is to install the normal patch, the normal 1.04 update for the game. Right there. So we're just installing the normal 1.04 update, which will not run because it's not a backported update. But then what we do on the Backport tool is we create a backport patch of that 1.04 update. So if I go ahead and do that, just create a backport patch, which again won't take very long because it's only doing the files that it actually needs. So there we go, it's already building the patch package, and there we go, it's done right there. So, and we should just about have this installed as well. Yep, there we go. So as you can see, we're now on version 1.04. However, it won't run because it's not the backported version of the game, so it's still not going to run. But what we can then do is install our little backported patch on top of that. So this one right here, that's only 77 megabytes, just like we did with the original game. And we can go ahead and install this one. And again, it shouldn't take long. And if we go to update history, you can see it says generated by PS4 Backporter Tool. And it should still be on 1.04, but this time it should run. So those are your two options for installing update files. Either you install the full game and then install a backported version of the entire update and install that, and then it will work. Or you can install the whole game, install the latest update that's not backported, and then create a backport patch of the update file and then install that on top. So you have the game, the normal update, and then the backported update patch on top. Or you can just do the game and a backported version of the update. Hopefully that makes sense. So you got two options there for doing update files. So there you go. So yeah, so that's how you backport updates. That's how you backport the game real quick with that tool. Now let's have a look at EA titles. So what actually happens if you try and backport this properly? So this is version 1.00, and as you can see, it still does not run. So if we try and just do the normal thing that we've been doing before, where we find the game for a start. So here we are. So if we take Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, we copy it in, and we create a backport patch, although we make sure we check that box because it's not a patch file. The original package file we loaded in was the game package file, not a patch file, so you need to check that checkbox. And there we go, it creates the backported patch as it normally would. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order actually has quite a lot of files to backport. So yeah, there you go, it creates the patch file just like it does with the other games. And we copy that in there and try and install it. Gets added to downloads, everything's looking good as usual. If we look at the check for updates, or not check for updates, update history, we can see we've got the 5.05 backport patch, everything looking good. On version 1.01 now, we run the game, expecting it to work, and it does hang on the loading screen like it would do if it was about to work. You know, it doesn't instantly come up with an error, but you do end up with that error after a few seconds, and it just kicks you back right here. So, how do we solve that problem? Well, first of all, let's uninstall that patch. So again, this is something that I wouldn't necessarily recommend the majority of people attempt to do because it's a little complicated compared to the stuff that we've just gone through. It's more like the stuff I did in the previous episode, even a bit more complicated than that. So, and it requires certain tools that, you know, you might not be able to get a hold of. So honestly, with EA Games, I would recommend just finding, there's patches already, pre-made patches already done for a lot of EA games because of how difficult they are to backport. So there's people who have already gone ahead and gone through all the trouble of backporting the game for you and creating a patch for it, and you can just find it online somewhere and download it and use it. But of course, there are some problems with that because if you have a different version of the game than the one that the backported patch was made for, then it's not going to work. And so there are certain reasons why you might want to do it manually. So, and people on Twitter have been asking me basically how to do this guide on how to properly patch the eboot.bin files to get EA games working. So yeah, that's what we're going to cover here as a bonus at the end of the video here. So like I say, I don't recommend everybody actually does this unless you have no other option basically. Then sure, why not? It's worth a try, I suppose. So what we're going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get rid of this because that update did not work. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to generate the a backport patch again, but this time we're going to check the box to ask user to proceed. And what that does is it just stops after every step and then asks you if you want to continue or not. So as you can see, it says continue, package extraction complete. Do you want to continue to the backporting step? So I'm going to say yes, I want to continue to the backporting step. But once it's done backporting the files, as it is just about now, I mean, there's quite a lot of files to backport. There we go. So when it gets to this point, you're not going to continue. You're just going to leave this message up. And this gives you a chance to do any kind of manual patching that you want to do before you click yes to create the package file. So if there's any kind of special things you have to do on certain games to get them working, this is your chance to do it. So if we go into the package extraction folder and then go to image 0, the eboot.bin file is the file that you want. And because we did it after the backporting stage, it should already be decrypted. So if I throw this into a hex editor, you can see it's already decrypted. So what we're going to do is we're going to need a bunch of different kind of tools in order to make this work. So what you're going to need is you're going to need IDA Pro, which I'll link in the description to the official program. It's a disassembler. I'm sure you've seen it around if you've been in the modding community for a while. But it's not a free program. It is expensive. There are obviously cracked versions all over the place on the internet, but I cannot put a link to any kind of cracked version or anything in the description. So you're going to have to source the program yourself. But assuming that you already have that, then you can continue. So you're also going to need this module loader by Balika 011, which basically allows you to load PlayStation 4 ELF files in IDA. So you're going to need this, and if we just head to the link and we go to /releases, again, everything you need will be linked in the description, apart from obviously a cracked version of IDA, because can't condone or support that. So yeah, you're going to download the .dll file to your computer and also the .xml file. So once you have those downloaded, as you can see, I've got them right here. You're going to want to go into the location where IDA is installed. So if I open file location, you can see it's in program files, IDA 7.2. You need to have version 7, 7.1 or 7.2 installed, I believe, in order for this loader to work properly. So you're going to head into the loaders folder and then just copy these two files into the loaders folder. Obviously, you won't have them already in there like I do, but just copy them in there and you should be good to go. So at this point, you can then run IDA Pro 64-bit version. We're going to go ahead and click OK. And we're going to, I guess I can try and load this previous project file. Hopefully that'll work. Probably not though. So we're going to go to File, Open. And we're going to select the eboot.bin file and click Open. And again, we're going to select from the top here, if you've installed the module properly, the loader properly, you should have this option for Balaki's 011 ELF64 Sony PS4 main module. The processor type should be Meta PC, disassemble all opcodes, and then just go ahead and click OK. And now you are going to have to wait a really goddamn long time. Yeah, it's going to take a long time to decompile this. So I'm talking about 10-15 minutes potentially. Well, at least with this eboot.bin, because it's quite a large one. It's over 100 megabytes, but smaller eboot.bin files for other EA games probably will take nowhere near as long as this. All right, there we go. So that took a while, let's just say, as you can see right here along the top. Okay, so if we click up here and we hit enter, that'll take us to that branch. So what we're going to do here is, first of all, hold Control and press P. And that'll take you to jump to certain functions. And then we're going to do Control F to search for the function name that we're looking for. So the function names we're looking for are listed right here in this guide on PlayStation Hacks. Although some of them are not quite correct, or they've missed out one. Like this one right here, for example. If I copy this and I search for it, paste it in here, you can see there's no function with that name. So you would likely skip over that and say, okay, well, this game doesn't include this particular function, because not all EA games are going to have all of the functions that are in here, all 4 of these. Some might just have 2 or 3, right, or less. So it looks like it doesn't contain this, but this is actually incomplete, because on this particular game, this function does exist, except instead of a dash right here, it's an underscore. So yeah, they should probably include that in the guide, because people could miss out, and they would still have problems of the game not running. So if I change this to an underscore, you can see the function does exist. So just be aware of that. With some of the symbols, underscores, dashes might be changed to underscores, plus symbols or underscores and stuff like that might be removed. Yeah, you've got to kind of have a look around to make sure that that function is definitely not in there, because it might be similar but have slightly different name because of different symbols and stuff. So yeah, you got to watch out for that. So there's an underscore in this one instead of a dash, and it is there. So once you find it, if you double click on it, it will take you to the location where that function call is, right here. And what you want to do is just head over to the hex view, and down in the bottom left it gives you the actual current offset in the input file, and that is where we want to go to actually change this. So you can't actually change this in IDA. It only allows you to view the the structure and everything of the actual eboot. It doesn't actually allow you to edit anything, so we're gonna have to use a hex editor to do that. So I'm going to use HXD, which again you can go ahead and check out. I'll link it in the description. So we're going to take the eboot.bin and drag it into HXD, and then we're going to go to that same location that's down here in the bottom left hand corner. So on HXD you can do search, go to, or control G, and go to a particular offset, and the offset we want to go to is this one down here, which is 4F7EE20. So 4F7EE20. If we go there on HXD, you can see there it is right there, and you can confirm it's correct because you can see the bytes are the same. So FF2578E8A401 again is the same here. FF2578E8A4 01 at the end. So what you want to do when you find it is we want to kind of NOP this function. I believe that's what we're doing. So if we scroll down here, it says the bytes that you need to change it to are 31C0C3. So we just change the first 3 bytes to 31C0C3, and then that's that one done. So then we're going to search for the next one. So again, if we control P on IDA and then control F to search, and we're going to go to the next one. So we're going to search for the next function, which is this one right here. Again, if there's a plus or a minus or any symbol before it, do not include that in the search because it might not show up when the function is actually there. So we're going to go back here and paste it in, and as you can see it does exist. So we're going to double click on that one and do the same thing. So go into the hex view, look at the bottom left, and on HXD on your hex editor you're going to jump to that offset. So 4F7EC90. So 4F7EC90. And FF2542E9, FF2542E9, that is the right place. So we do 31C0C3. And we are good to go there. All right, so the next thing we do, you might actually be able to find, sometimes these functions are actually really close to each other. So sometimes you don't even have to search for it. It might just be, in here somewhere. We're just going to control P again and search once again. So the next one is this one right here. No symbols in this one, so we shouldn't be able to mess this one up. And okay, it doesn't exist. So that particular function call does not exist in this particular game, in Jedi Fallen Order, but it may exist in other games like FIFA or Madden or NBA 2K or something else. So the last one here down at the bottom, I'm going to search for this one, Control V, and this one exists. So I'm going to go here, this one right here, go to the hex view and look at the bottom left. Again, hex editor, Control G, go to that offset. So that's 4F7E090. So 4F7E090. And there it is, FF2542EF, FF2542EF. And we're going to change that to 31C0C3. So that is it. And once you find them all, you just control save on hex editor and you should be good to go. You can now close out of IDA and let that close up. So hopefully it should work now. So all we have to do now that we've done that is we can go ahead and click yes to continue with the creating the package file stage. So if we go ahead and click yes and just wait for it to build the package file now. And we'll open up package sender again, so we're ready. We'll pop this in and we'll open up our capture card. Bring this back up. Okay, so we'll go into the remote package installer and send the package file. And this time, hopefully, it should indeed work. So make sure the update file is installed, version 1.01, update history, and we run the game. It took this long before, but it gave us an error. But this time, it seems to be working. Well, okay, let's not celebrate too soon. It's a black screen. Nope, there we go, it's loading. Okay, so yeah, it works. But the thing about EA Games is, and other games as well, because there might be some kind of like feature in 6.72 or whatever SDK version the game was built on that's higher than 5.05 that was not included in the 5.05 SDK, and therefore, and if it requires that feature in order for the game to work properly, it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to work, or you're going to have to do some kind of insane next level patching stuff to get it to work. So yeah, but as you can see, it is working, at least so far anyway. So yeah, I mean, that is basically it, guys. That is how you backport EA games, and that is how you use the Backport tool to quickly and easily backport all the other games, even though EA games are quite complicated with using IDA and a hex editor and all the stuff you have to do there. But people on Twitter were asking me to cover it, so I thought I would cover it anyway. And like I say, some games are still going to give you problems no matter what, because like I said, it's just certain games are just not going to work properly on 5.05. It's just the way it is, not without some like next level patching involved. DLC is another issue that I haven't kind of gone over yet. So if a game has like DLC, I'm not entirely sure how you would tackle that right now. Basically, the tool doesn't support DLC yet because it's a different type of package file than a normal game or an update package file, I think. So I'll try and include some kind of DLC support in the next version. But in the meantime, if you are trying to do DLC, I would probably recommend that you install the game normally and then create a backported version of the latest update for the game that you can get for it. Install that and then backport the entire DLC package file, manually or something in the meantime. Just backport the whole DLC package and then install that on top afterwards, and then hopefully it'll work, but we'll see. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one.